first UFO I saw as a child. The second one, well, actually there was three. The second three that I saw was in Nevada at the age of 17, around the same time that I had my first major NDE. And they were going a minimum of 2,000 miles an hour. And they basically, there was three of them in a formation, and they went from over somewhere around the area of Area 51 in relationship to where I was in Nevada, and they went 500 miles in less than a split second. And I'm guessing at the miles because they were, hundreds of miles away from us when we were watching them. And then they stopped, and then they went up like 50 to 100 miles, and then they went back down, and then they went back another 300-400 miles in a split second. So anyway, that was, for me, that was like one of the most shocking things that I've ever seen, other than, basically being attacked by either what people would call demons or archons themselves as a teenager. I think we had this discussion too, Omar, about the one that I saw in the window during a prayer meeting.
Yep, I remember. I think that was in our second talk.
Yeah, holy shit.
Or was that the time we got drunk?
Yeah. That was like so freaking awesome, because that was the day that I overcame that original fear.
Mm-hmm.
And to have that feeling of power to overcome fear is just so fucking awesome. I there's no words can describe it, because and I'm coming full circle to this part of this topic. What's this advisory thing popping up? Because I can't.
It's Indigo Advisory, conscious content.
Oh, are we not supposed to swear?
No, curse away, brother. That's my
okay.
That's cool. My warning.
All right. I'm like, hey, wait a minute.
Listener beware.
Listener beware. There's going to be some F-bombs.
Hey, drop them, brother. Preach it.
So,
you know my language.
Yeah, fuck. So, archons basically operate in the energy of fear. That's like one of their biggest. They produce fear, and fear meaning false evidence appearing real. That's the acronym for fear. They live off the loosh, our soul energy, our spiritual energy that we create throughout our fear and negativity and anger and all the other bullshit things that they literally, it's like a vicious circle. They create the shit, and then we wallow in it, and they survive off of the energy that we create from our own co-creativity through the collective consciousness, and next thing you know, we're in this fucking shit storm that we're in right now. But as people become more aware and more awake, the collective consciousness is starting to grow and starting to get stronger. And people like me are putting out the message that the more we live in the energy of fear, the more we live in the energy of negativity, and all the bullshit negative aspects that go along with fear and doubt and division, which the archons are basically mostly responsible for. The more loose they harvest from us, and I mean harvesting souls, harvesting spirits. I mean, we can go on talking on this topic alone. The soul trap, archons, and the entire system that they've set up for hours. I mean, we could do a 4-hour show on this alone with all the information that I gathered over the last 10, 15 years. That was one of the big reasons why I started writing all the information that I gathered in the book, Cosmic Traveler's Guide. Still haven't published it yet. I kind of, after the last show, I kind of did I don't know what the hell you would call it. Um, I didn't really go off the deep end, but I was questioning everything. So anyway, back to the topic. So basically, what they want, what they thrive on is deception. And sorry, I got shit popping up on my phone. They thrive on lies. They thrive on deception. Oh, okay. So the more we focus on light, love, positivity, co-creation of the aspects of love, and unconditional love too. By the way, I can't put enough emphasis on that. The less energy they have. One of my memes that I put out there once in a while is every time you smile, a reptilian starves. I don't know if you've seen that one, but anyway. So next slide, please. Archons are basically rulers, controllers. This is just a brief synopsis of their agenda. And, you know, Archon and Gnosticism basically talks about rulers, gods, and humanity. In our attempts to understand the appearances of alien beings, decided to call them gods, as that was the earliest description in the human language for such a description of what they were. And I mean, when you look back at ancient alien history and all of the artifacts that have been found, Sumerian scripts, texts, Egyptian, South American artifacts. I mean, I've just been seeing tons of them in the last few months. You know, carvings of aliens, basically, in spaceships. And, you know, some of them are that many, multiple thousands of years old. So, next slide, please. The information that I found in the paper that I discovered on the electric wars. Let me see if I can pull that up right here real quick. I screwed up my laptop by eliminating or deleting my camera. And it wasn't even really the camera that I originally had. I don't know where that went. Piece of shit laptop. You can't get anything good anymore. It's all crap. Let's see. History of the electric wars. What in the fuck are the electric wars? Okay. So I'm sure many people have heard of Lord Enkai. And Marduk. Anyway, I found similar messages that I stumbled on. This one particular paper came from the planetary staff and the Yahweh matrix. So basically, in a nutshell, to save time, the ancient builder race, and I have a picture of what I personally believe was one of their ships. And, you know, quite a few other people agree that they also think that that's one of their ships that they left there on purpose. It's been scavenged and stripped, and I have a feeling that's where a lot of the technology that's out there now came from, not to mention what crashed in Roswell. But anyway, where was I? So the ancient builders built a grid in to protect this universe from the negative alien agenda, which I call, or which they called, I borrowed the term NAA. And basically those were negative. They say that they're soulless. I believe it, because when you look at how people, or how people, what the things that people do to other people, I don't see how they can have a soul or a conscience by the things that they do: burning, murdering, raping, torturing children, extracting their blood. I mean, I just don't see how people can do that with a conscience. And then, not to mention, eating the flesh. Eating the flesh of babies, for example. Have I seen anyone do it? No. Is there evidence of it being done? Yes. Have I seen the evidence? Yes. And I mentioned, I should have put it first thing in here, and I'm trying to see if I can open up the chats. Yeah. Wow. Hardcore. Yeah. Sunflower. I missed what the movie is about. Is she talking about Jupiter Ascending? It's basically about.
Yeah, that's when we were talking about Jupiter Ascending and how it resembles the archonic control system that we're seeing here on Earth.
Yeah, I mean, and I try to say this as gently and delicately as possible, because I've gotten to the point in my age now where I don't judge. I try not to judge people, because it's just a waste of time. Judgment is reserved for people who have nothing better to do. Okay. But anyway, yeah. So they put up this grid to keep out negative aliens and to stop their negative alien agenda, which is basically the archons are not the ancient builders, and they also introduced and came in with AI, and that AI is totally soulless, definitely soulless. And so are, I believe, archons and reptilians. I'm just scrolling down through this paper because it's, to me, it's just a huge amount of information, 28 pages, plus I added a few of my own notes in here. It's going to be in my book if I ever get it published. I'd like to, because I think people really want to know what the fuck is going on to some extent. I mean, like I said, when you're living in a holographic reality that's co-created by the collective consciousness, and, a lot of people might say I'm full of shit if I say this, but I'm thinking that to some extent, the collective unconsciousness even co-creates some of the shit that we don't want to put up with. And that's why we're getting so frustrated, when I wish people would fucking wake up. Excuse me. Sorry. Anyway, I forget sometimes that, it takes patience, because not everybody wakes up like that. So anyway, when the grid went down, and the archons and the AI that came with them, basically grays, tall grays, short grays, I want to say tall grays, came in. They created what's called the beast machine. And this is very important, because this ties into what's going on right now with the axis of the planet. It's off kilter, and we're also, as far as I know, I can't, I mean, when you look up at the sky, you're like, okay, what the fuck is really going on? Mm-hmm. Apparently, we're supposed to be rotating clockwise with the rest of our. I'm just going to give you a quick history for people who don't know. Our galaxies.
Can I add to that as well?
Go ahead. Yeah.
No, go ahead. You first.
What's that?
You first.
I was going to say that in this particular part of the universe, our galaxy spins clockwise. And what they did was they rolled the axis of the planet over. And I mean, there's people out there, I listen to them all the time, and they say that there's no aliens and there's no such thing as aliens. And we live on a flat earth under a big glass dome. And I'm like, okay, well, fuck. I don't know, man. I don't know.
Don't even go there, man.
but even okay, it's like whatever. We're still rotating the wrong fucking way, either way you look at it. And there's a center point in that flat dish or the planet or wherever the fuck you want to think it is. Okay. We're supposed to be rotating clockwise, and one of the major reasons why everything is fucked up is because we're counter rotating. So the beast machine that they created, the Archons, was designed to destroy the architecture of the vertical pillar. That's the planetary staff. Sorry if I talk fast, but it's just the way I am. People can comment, tell me to slow down so they can understand. I'm used to talking slow to the people that I teach engineering courses to overseas because their English is not that great. So what and this ties into a completely different but altogether equally important aspect of feminine masculine, and the destruction of the mother divine feminine, which is part of their plan, and they've been doing. I don't want to give them any credit, but that's what's been going on in their fucked up plan to destroy the mother, Gaia, divine feminine, mother of God, Sophionic principle in this reality entirely. And that's, in my slides, I have some, I planned on putting some correlations to the fact that division, destroying the nuclear family, not to mention the George Guidestones, killing 6.5 billion people, which is what they've been trying to do. They say that that's exactly what they're going to do. And they're going to have 500 million people left over as their slaves to, basically wait on their sorry asses. Not if we can help it. We're here to stop that. Pure and simple. That's what I'm here for. And there's millions more of us. There's 144,000 of the drop-in star seeds. They're warriors. They're holders of the light. The Jehovah Witnesses think they can claim them as the only ones that are going to go to heaven. No. Sorry if I offend any Jehovah Witnesses listening, but too fucking bad. You shouldn't be on this fucking chat anyway. Yeah, I'm just kidding. Okay. So anyway, what we are approaching, and there's a lot of stuff in here that I've never even heard of. I'm like, holy shit. Crystal Star Guardian Host. I'm like, I don't even know where to begin. Higher dimensional beings here to help us with this process right now. I fully believe it. When you hear shit, it smells like shit. It sounds like shit. It's probably pretty much shit, right, Omar?
It is shit.
When you hear something that resonates and it strikes a chord and it's like, man, I can sink my teeth into that. It really resonates with me. Your soul remembers and knows that it's the truth. And that's, it's either going to resonate or it's bullshit. And, bullshit's bullshit. So, I mean, I could spend several hours just on this 28 pages of the Electric Wars alone. But anyway, That's how they got in. The grid got broke down. I'm trying to scroll through some comments because I promised people I would try to answer.
While you're doing that, can I give a download from
the
commandeered bandwidth? Some beings are more prone to being possessed than others. Fallen reptilian forces, especially from Alpha Draconis, known as the Draco, have been totally possessed by these parasitic entities. The
Boom.
Draco-reptilians are aggressive in nature and produce massive amounts of hormonal, chemical, energetic substances within the brains and bodies, which the archons can then feed upon. It is a symbiotic relationship. The archonic entity possesses the mind matrix of the Draco-reptilian and stimulates his thinking into demonic, negative, dark thoughts, possesses which directly influence the creation of hormonal, chemical, and energetic food within the reptilian body. The archon lives within the mind matrix of the host being, stimulating it into creating a reality which the archon can then live within and inhabit. The archons cannot create reality for themselves. They have long since severed their connection with the love and light of the universal dreamer, and therefore no longer have the ability to create. The ability to create comes directly from the creator of this universe. The archons no longer have this ability and therefore can only copy the inspired thought of other lower dimensional beings. They inhabit beings as existing in the lower levels and cause them to use their divine inherited creative ability to create realities which run along the designs of the archonic agenda. These realities are especially dark and controlling, as it is within these kinds of reality beings are so easily led. The further into dark realities a being falls, the easier it is controlled and possessed by one of these parasitic archonic entities. These are especially tricky beings as they have the ability to slip in between dimensions within the lower levels. They can mimic and shift into other forms, and therefore deceiving beings into accepting their influence. Healers working on various dimensions have reported that these beings can operate on several levels at once and are intelligent enough to pass from one to another, often undetected. Often when we are battling demonic, often reptilian forces, we are not only battling actual reptilian beings existing in the fourth dimension, but we are also battling against an archonic parasite which has possessed a reptilian being and is influencing his mind and behavior. The archons have created a distortion within the mind matrix of our galaxy, and all beings operating in the lower levels within are under their influence to one degree or another. However, some are more genetically predisposed to being possessed by an archonic parasite than others. The reptilian genetic makeup, which creates a reptilian mind matrix, is easily infiltrated by these archonic parasites. Many of the wars fought in our galaxy in past and present eons were first triggered and then nurtured into being by the archonic mind predators. The galactic wars created immense pain for the galaxy and all beings which lived within it. The victims of these wars created massive amounts of emotional, energetic food for the swarming snake-like parasites. These negative energies not only nourish the archons, it also caused them to increase in numbers.
Yeah, that's awesome, man.
There's a little download from Earth Frequency.
Nice. So let's see. Sunflower said something for sure, but I'm not quite sure what she was referring to.
Here's a question that
Stay in love and highest vibration of love. Exactly. And that was going to be the final part of my they hate love. Somebody just said that. They can't stand love, unconditional love. If you have the essence of Christ consciousness, love within you, that's the strongest thing you can have. Not to mention, crystals that you fill that have already been filled with thanks green eggs. Heaven is here. I can't say this enough that one of the main reasons, and it's nothing personal towards you, Omar. I mean, I had to like go within and just like push out everything from the external.
Do it, brother.
I didn't even know what the hell was going on. I'm like, what the fuck is wrong with me? I had to like go deep back inside, man, do some major soul searching. And it just culminated and came back to the same thing I learned when I was 17, when I died and came back, that nothing else matters but love. I mean, there's no other. That's your strongest, most powerful weapon The frequency of love and light are the two major, most powerful weapons that we possess.
Mm-hmm.
And you can go all the way back and forth across the spectrum. Now, another thing that I want to talk about at some point, not now, but is magnetism,
Is it
frequencies, and
on your slide?
magnetism. Huh?
Is it on your slides?
No. I'm gonna make a presentation. I'm gonna put it in
Oh, I
there.
see. Okay, okay.
That's the realm that I've been digging deep into, and like it's just like beating my brain up with this.
Mm-hmm.
With and Tesla is like, he's like my right up there with Jesus. Tesla and Jesus, man. They're like, and what he taught. And it's funny. I just looked at a license plate from one of my cars that's out in the garage, and it's 639 EE, and I'm like, holy shit! I never realized that. 369, the numbers of the universe. It was on my license plate. Anyway, so yeah, I like that mantra. But anyway, okay. So the thing that's been going on that a lot of people are, and I watch weather and the weather phenomena that's going on around the planet, because I'm always looking for clues and hints about what's going on to uh, corroborate, what I believe is actually going on. Because there's so many people that I could talk to that would just look at me and their head would tilt and they'd be like, yeah, you're fucking nuts. And it's like, okay, yeah, you can say that all you want, but
I'd be like, no, I've got two, but I'm not nuts.
yeah. So back to the rotation of the planet. I sincerely believe that because we have gained momentum, okay, at some point, the reptilians and the archons were allowed to have a seat on the Galactic Council, and it's basically because of the unconditional aspects of universal law, no judgment, and the archons and the reptilians. Actually, let me go back here. I just want to go scroll through. Hey, Bill, nice to see you on here. I don't know if you're still on. I'm trying to go down through these. Peter Pan, happy place. Thanks, Green Eggs. I'm going to go back into my slideshow. Can you hit the next slide? If you can pull that back up. Let's see. Next, early history. I kind of covered that already. Shit, I can't even read that. Okay. So yeah, I think I kind of hinted on that on this that I could talk about what I've discovered, learned, and remembered for hours, but I
You want me
decided
to
to
read
quit.
it? You want me
Yeah,
to
if
read
you
it,
want.
Carla? Okay, so
Yeah,
the first
sure.
bulletin goes, I could talk about what I've discovered, learned, and remembered for hours, but I decided to create a format so that I don't go all over the place like a cat chasing its tail.
And I
I was
did that
almost
anyway.
I was almost to the extent of obsessed when I learned or saw that we are not alone. I watched Star Wars and Star Trek as a kid in wonderment. I watched the lunar landing with wonder and excitement as I was fooled, like the many millions around the world, that we actually went there or not. Food for thought. Another argument or discussion for a different time.
Yeah, I mean, come on. Once again, the word deception comes up. Next slide, please. We've been lied to and deceived. So yeah, when I redo this and build it the right way, I'm gonna put that in the very beginning of the show. Next slide, please. I just had to put that in there. Okay.
You want me
So
to read it? Just let me
yeah,
know if you
sure.
want me to read it, because if,
Yeah,
if you
go
can't
ahead.
read it on your screen, right? Then I
Yeah,
can do
no,
that for you.
I have to zoom it in because I'm still scrolling down through this electric ores paper to find a couple of juicy tidbits that I think people will find interesting, and it explains a lot about what's going on with these archons and what
Cool.
they're doing. But go ahead.
I'll be your lips. This goes for the sake of argument. Let's just take a quick stroll down memory lane and chat about the history of mankind versus humanity. This subject alone has been the center point of discussion between scholars and historians, as well as scientists, for many years. It is also the focus of controversy in the
Center pint.
silence realm as far as human DNA is concerned. I'll delve into that later during this discussion. In my opinion, there are two distinctly different animals, and I mean that with as much sarcasm as I do sincerity. The notion has been spoken of and documented over thousands of years of human history. Let's just start with the Anunnaki for starters.
Okay, so what you mentioned earlier, and I didn't really delve because of time into this, although it's in my slide about DNA. So I just want to go back while we're here on the subject, and I'm going to read this off of here. The Aquiferian races are a part of the original Blue-ray diamond sun body lineages in the angelic human race that became extinct in this universal time matrix after the electric wars. And I didn't really get a very good download or description of why the word electric wars was chosen for the description of the electric wars. But from my understanding, from what I can pull in, when I say pull in, I mean I'm pulling it in from the ethereal, the Akashic records, everything that I can get through this thick skull of mine, this human meat bag skull that's been cracked a few times, is that they literally harnessed electricity and use it as weapons, frequencies, lasers, whatever. They don't need gunpowder bullets like we use here, which are kind of archaic compared to futuristic weapons that I'm sure they've had. I've seen videos of some of them in action, whether it's CGI or not. I believe they're out there. I mean, look at our technology with lasers. Okay, so the electric wars are important in the historical timeline, trigger events. And when I say that, I mean basically the things that triggered the changes that we're experiencing right now. The genetic mutations in diamond sun. And when I say diamond sun, I'm talking about what I believe they're also describing as the central sun, which is the central sun in the middle of our galaxy, not this solar system. That diamond sun in the center of our galaxy is the main focus and focal point of the energetic dispersal of source light in this galaxy. I believe that our sun is a portal, not a fucking ball of gas like scientists try to convince us. Oh, it's just a ball of gas. Yeah, bullshit. I don't buy it. Anyway, so those mutations caused DNA damage from the wars overseeding on the 7D Earth and led to the first separation from the 12-strand DNA. Let's see, I just want to make sure I cover everything in this slide before I go to the next one. Okay. The point that I was trying to make up here was the difference between mankind and humanity. If you take the word mankind and split it in two, it's kind of a man, or it's just the word of is taken out. Kind of man, mankind. People throw that word around loosely now because they don't understand what it means. Mankind is also a description of the genetic mutation that's not human. For lack of a better description, it's not really a clone, but it's like a drone. Soulless, doesn't have a soul or a spirit. cannot ascend and basically just lives to absorb, and it's kind of like, I guess, for lack of a better description, a leech. You're the typical description of a narcissist. Anyway, so in my notes here on this particular separation from the 12-strand DNA, which, by the way, I fully believe that are based on the evidence, research, and science, and all the other things that have come out in the last 25 years, that our DNA, they call the majority of it junk DNA, because they don't want to admit that it's been engineered by aliens over the last 100 million years. And it's common knowledge now that we've discovered our DNA is not what we would call normal. Some scientists and researchers have discovered that we, in fact, have alien extraterrestrial DNA from even further back than the Anunnaki, when they were upgrading us to be stronger, tougher slaves to dig in the gold mines, which is a whole nother discussion altogether. Regarding Nibiru and harvesting gold to try to save their own, the Nephilim, Anunnaki, jumped off Nibiru and basically turned us into slaves to harvest gold so they could try to use it to save their own atmosphere on Nibiru, which swings around into our own solar system. What's the cycle? Do you remember the cycle in years, Omar?
No, I can't off the top of my head.
Yeah, I forgot. It's like 6,000 years, I think.
For what? Sorry?
Nibiru, also known as Planet X.
Nibiru. It's 3,600 year.
3,600. Thank you.
3,600 year orbit.
Yep.
But I don't really personally think that Nibiru is part of our solar system.
No. I agree.
Yeah, kind of like what Dr. Lesson was saying the other day, and I concur with him, that I think that
a ship,
the 3,600 year cycle that they're talking about, is that Nibiru, Planet X, whatever they want to call it, is part of a different solar system and is part of the Nemesis star system, our binary twin, right? It's a brown dwarf star, so that it can't be seen. And I would even go far as to suggest that our sun, because it doesn't have the density that the brown dwarf would have, is orbiting Nemesis rather than them both orbiting each other. I think our star is orbiting it, and every 3,600 years we come close enough so that they can travel from their solar system into our solar system. And that's why in ancient history we see a lot of reference in ancient literature, holy books and such, of rocket ships flying down to Earth, landing with thunder and boom, smoke, kind of what have you. And if I look at that from the perspective of UFOs today, I go to think that that's like really primitive technology. And that primitive technology back in the day would have been advanced technology to the humans here on Earth, possibly. Yeah. And then they were able to use, like we are today with Elon's Starlink, or the starships that he's sending to Mars, that they possibly did the same thing by using that type of propulsion system to come here and then mine gold and other things and fuel and such. And that's also goes to explain their longevity, because I always put it into the example of, like, if you were biologically connected to Pluto and you were born on Pluto, and it takes Pluto 270 years to Earth years to orbit the sun, then how old would you be? Would you be 1 year old, or would you be 270 years old? So the same thing can go. So the same thing can go with the Anunnaki, is that if they're biologically connected to their planet, then their longevity would be connected to their planet. So when they come here, they're, let's say, like their 3,600 year orbit around our sun is one of their years. You know what I'm saying? It's like they count it as 1 year. So if you're born on Nibiru, then when 3,600 years have passed here on Earth, only 1 year biologically will have passed for you, and that goes to explain the kings list that we find in the Samaria and Babylonia and all those places where they show us that these kings living for like 430,000 years, 500,000 years. And if you do the math on that and divide it by 3,600, then it kind of makes sense. And that, if somebody from Nibiru came here to Earth for, say, like a 10-year term, right? That 10-year term on 3,600 years, that's a lot of years.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. And,
that's like 36,000 years, 40,000, something like that. Let's do the math on that. 3,600 sorry, 450,000 years. Right, let me do quick arithmetics here. Where is it? Where's the calculator?
Look at the number of years people back 2,000, 3,000 years ago.
So if you got 430,000 years, right? 430,000 years, and then you would divide that by 3,600 year orbit, right? So that would equal, yeah, makes sense. So on their planet, they would be, after spending 430,000 years on Earth, that's 430,000 Earth years, according to their 3,600 year orbit, it would be 119 years old. They would be about 119 years old here on Earth. And who's to say that they're not like Noah and, and all these other biblical characters that have lived for like 800-900 years, right? 1,000 years. So what if they lived 1,000 years, 119 years, 120 years in their lifetime? Really wouldn't be all that much. It would be like doing a tour of duty.
Cheers,
right?
mate.
Yeah, cheers, man. And being an ambassador from Nibiru to Earth, and then you spend your time here, and then you go back. The next person comes in. They're the ambassador, the president, the emissary, whatever the case may be, the representative. And then they would spend, like 50 years, 60 years of their life, right? Of their lifetime. Yeah. And then on this Earth, tens of hundreds of thousands of years have passed. And that makes a lot more sense to me than this rogue planet that's in some orbit that we haven't spotted. We've been looking at the sky for thousands of years. And somebody would have pointed out, Nibiru, if it was, either on this orbit, or if it was on a side orbit, or if it was like that, doesn't matter what plane it was on. We've been watching this guy long enough to know that somebody would have spotted it, right? Somebody would have spotted that. No one spotted it. So, I would assume that is part of another solar system.
Yeah.
Good night, Heaven. Have a wonderful night. Thank you for joining us here this evening. Really appreciate it. Thank you for your support.
I heard last year something about Nicodemus, or I can't remember, somebody way back, an ancient astronomer in the 12th century, maybe, that was they didn't crucify him, but they burned him at the stake, called him a witch because he was pointing out some astrological things that they're like, no, that's not part of the narrative. You can't go around teaching that stuff because it's not part of the lie that we fabricated. I'm like, holy shit. Wow. It's the stars, man. Come on. But anyway, I didn't mean to get off.
Gerardo Bruno in 1600 was burnt at the stake. He was burned and was sentenced to burn to death by the Roman Inquisition for his heretical ideas, in which he refused to recant. It had been debated which of his ideas were found heretical, since the records of case have not been preserved. He was a philosopher and astronomer, and died February 17th, 1600, Rome.
Thank you. That's like spot on, man. I came back to vindicate him. Here's a little interesting tidbit off the cuff.
Gotcha, brother.
I don't know if I told you this since the last time we all had a little gathering. I did a a past life regression. Come to find out, I was an ambassador from Atlantis, and I met the Lemurian ambassador that I had been working as a liaison back and forth between Atlantis and Lemuria to try to get the two of them to, chill out and stop, acting like a bunch of assholes, because Atlanteans were headstrong, controlling, and Lemurians were much more loving and, chill. And that was the main reason why. I mean, there's a whole other topic. How many more topics? We got so many topics we could talk about, man. The destruction of the planet that's now our asteroids floating around in our solar system. The soul knot, lot of souls came from the soul knot. There's just so much negative energy floating around and karma that has to be cleaned up from being murdered by reptilians multiple times and being wiped off your planet. That's why I put some of the stuff in this particular show to go backwards in history to kind of give us a little bit of a history lesson to tie everything together so that we can understand why things are so fucked up now. And I put emphasis on that because of the fact that we are dealing with division, sexual gender confusion, destruction of the divine feminine. I mean, the list just goes on and on and on. You got men who are afraid to embrace their divine feminine, and they don't even know what the fuck divine masculine is. It's not being an egotistical, narcissistic asshole, but that's something that we each have to learn that lesson on our own, and I'm not saying that with judgment. I'm just saying it for clarity as I guess just a matter of reality. So anyway, with that in mind, the next sentence that I have here, and I'm reading this because it's part of this topic that I wanted to cover. What followed after the Electric Wars was the 2D, 4D soul split.
I just want to give you a 10 minutes heads up, Marlon.
Okay. Yep. I'll tie it all together. Can you pull up the next slide that's up there? I'm going to click through them real quick. Wow, I'm just like looking at my face in the screen, and it's like, holy shit. Look like I got beat up. What was the screen before that? Some of it's blank because I didn't fill it in. See if I can zoom that out myself. Oh, okay. Yeah. I'm sorry. I'll go on to the next one and the next one after that. So yeah, this was just one of the books, one of the sources of information, and multiple sources of information you can go to and look for the history. Next slide. I thought this was pretty interesting. It's not meant to be a slam, but just a perspective. Seems to me that the only true Christian were the Gnostics, who believed in self-knowledge, i.e. becoming Christ themselves, reaching the Christ within. And I want to put more emphasis on Christ consciousness, not so much focusing on Christ per se as the 2,000-year-old entity that everybody tries to focus on. The light is the truth. Turn on the light, all the better to see you with, my dear. I thought that was just kind of a cool thing to throw in there. Anyway, so after the 2D, 4D soul split, vertical staff distortions, gender reversals, death seals, and the resultant quarantine field called the wall in time. And, basically in a nutshell, this led to what is called the soul trap. The soul trap is the energetic distortion field that we are currently living in. And we had this discussion during the NDE topics about going through a portal to get out of here, like a free pass, as opposed to going through the cycle of the soul trap over and over again. And then the secrets from an insider elite ties that all together. I didn't get a chance to. I might put some of that stuff in the presentation too, about the secret and how to get out of the soul trap. But I don't think that's going to matter anymore, because I think we're going to get beyond that when this timeline shift happens, and it's coming quick. It's not going to be quick enough, but it's coming. Okay, so my point was, one of the main reasons that they're really trying to destroy, how they're trying to destroy, and this has absolutely nothing to do about people's choices, but it's basically, it explains some of the reasons why we're seeing what we're seeing with gender confusion. Your sexual preference is your business. I don't care what your sexual preference is. I don't judge you for what your sexual preference is. It's not my job, not my business. But when you look back at the basic facts of a man and a woman, procreation to keep the species going, if you have two guys and two girls going at it, creation is dead. There's no creation there. They might be creating love, which is kind of cool, but there's no, it's the death of creation of the human being, the human being. Creation ends when you have gender confusion. If you're born a man, you chose to be born a man, to be a man, and be a father if you choose to be a father. If not, to just be a man. If you're, same thing goes for a woman. If you're born a woman, you chose to become a woman, come here to be a woman, to be a mother, or to be a holder of the portal of life, and to have that loving, nurturing mother spirit that helps hold the light in this planet. It has absolutely nothing to do with judgment of people's sexual preference. But the point is, in this discussion, that is part of the AI agenda to kill divine feminine. Pure and simple. That's all there is to it. Those are the cold, hard facts, as they say. So basically, going back down through confusion, division was the other number one polarity reversal, and basically trying to keep us all arguing about stupid shit. Time to stop arguing about stupid shit. Time to focus and go within. Stop reacting to all the bullshit that's going on around you, because it's not going to do anybody any good. People have their own lessons to learn. We're all in our own individual fractal version of source, experiencing source, seeing source, and the creation through our own eyes as a fractal version of source. 0 point energy lies within each and every one of us. No other opinions, no other perspectives, no other perceptions are going to change what you have to learn and what you're here to learn. And that's basically, as far as I'm concerned, I'm here to learn the next higher level of unconditional love without judgment, and to learn to be more in service to others instead of service to self. That was the other aspect of the Archon negative alien agenda, as well as with AI to push transhumanism. That was the other main aspect right there, transhumanism. So mankind is responsible for that, changing the path and the ascension process of humanity, because each and every single one of you are a very super powerful being of light. And, if you choose to go the other way, you can embrace the dark side and go to the other side. It's free will choice. As for me, I choose the light side. I love the light, even though it kind of fries my my rapidly balding and receding hairline when I go out there for too long. I, you know.
I can deal at that one.
Hey, brother, every day is a blessing for me, man, because I should have been gone a long, long time ago. I'm just glad to wake up every morning and be able to crawl out of bed or jump
Yeah,
out of bed or whatever.
yeah, with a beautiful family, beautiful wife, beautiful baby.
Yeah, man,
Yeah, man, you're laughing. The universe has gifted you, for
it
coming
has
back to
indeed.
give us uploads.
Yeah, man, I'm a spiritual light warrior here, man. I'm here to hold the ley lines together and keep the portals open, and spread the truth around and help with the ascension process. I've been a wanderer and a spiritual warrior for millions of years, and the beat goes on.
Bro, I'm just here to watch, hence watchers.
Watchers, man. Hey, do you know the best place you can be in your life is as a watcher and an observer? Because when you interact with certain aspects of what's going on around you, it can quickly turn into a shitstorm.
Yeah, I was saying the other day I had a reading done
Fuck that.
by this lady, and she told me that I was here as an observer, and I'm just going to come here, watch, and go back and report to some council. And she
Yeah.
wasn't very clear on what council. And she hinted at like Council of 13, but she was like some council. And I was like, oh, yeah, okay, that's cool. At the
The
time, I
big
didn't think much
watchers,
of it.
bro. The
Hey, what's that?
big watchers, man.
Yeah, the big watchers come down from them to come and look
Hierarchy.
at these beautiful little drops of light on this planet that are shitting on themselves. So I got to make a report and give it back, and then they're gonna do whatever it is that they're gonna do. Send guys like you and come and do their work down here. So we all have our role to play, right? Some are,
Yeah.
some people have this role, some have that role, and it appears that in this lifetime, this appears to be my role. Maybe next time I'll come back as William Wallace.
Yeah, man. That's me this life. Well, many lives. Galactic shit kicker.
Yeah, exactly. So
Friend of
brother,
mine in Vermont
we have a
describes me as a stallion kicking the boards trying to get out of the stall.
we got a couple of minutes left, homies. So why don't you tell our viewers where they can find you, how they can contact you, and where they can follow your work, and then we'll close the day out. It's been a long day, and
Man.
and days, right? The 10 days, and tomorrow is our final day, and you're going to be with us again tomorrow on the NDE panel. So looking forward to that.
Yeah, I just got to get the time squared away because I have 2 jobs going. Catherine wants to flip through the slides. I don't know if we have time. You're welcome, Lindy Lou, and Stone Hobbit ambassadors, indeed. I don't know how many slides there were left.
Here, I'll go like this. Where is it? There's about 11, 12 slides left, and gonna run out of time here.
Yeah.
Before we get that, but I do have something that I can do right here. I'll bring up the PowerPoint, guys, and then whatever that we didn't finish, I will post the link in the comments so that you guys can go and have a boo at this presentation.
Oh, there's nothing to it. It's only I started this literally last night at like 9:00, so I threw 27 slides together. But this is one thing that I didn't mention, that I had a dream since the last time that we really had a conversation or did an event. And if you click on this slide about the Pearl people, which is number 18.
Oh, fuck. There we go. So what slide were we on? Let's plow through them.
Next one.
We
18.
did right here.
18.
We were here.
Yep.
So hit up this one, brother.
Ancient aliens. Hang on a second. Okay. So let's see. Debates regarding the subject could go on for centuries regarding the differences between religious and spiritual, because they're as vast as the ocean when you start talking about opinions that everybody has. One's based upon a demonic entity and the other archonic negative alien agenda, Anunnaki, dark entities, grays, UFOs, alien abductions. And I was hoping to be able to tie this all together to some extent by the end of our discussion, to shed some light between both sides of the aisle. Food for thought is division, is the major part of their agenda, is division, to keep us at each other's throats and fighting and arguing. So we're missing the big picture. The big picture is that we are literally sheep for the slaughter to them, literally. And I keep just like manifesting disclosure to come out about what's been going on, because I've seen it. I've been deep down into the bowels of the shithole and the tunnels, and I've seen the videos, and I've been on the dark web and saw some things that I wish I'd never seen, and they're stuck in there. I hope I could there's such thing as a mind wipe, because I don't want to see that shit anymore. Things that no human should experience. And, there was a time for months in the last few years that I prayed every night for all these children and people in human sex trafficking cages and tunnels all over the world, just being mutilated and tortured. That's the real, nitty gritty about this discussion. And so getting yourself, grounded and focused and centered and going within instead of, trying to find answers without. I mean, yes, some of us, had to go without to find answers, but a lot of times those answers are found within. That's one of the most poignant things that I can say. We can learn a lot from others, but the answer always lies within when it comes to discovering your own truth. So anyway, that particular thing about UFOs, I kind of already went into that, and basically, the crux of the conversation is, if UFOs don't exist, aliens don't exist, and it's all demonic, satanic shit, then how are we seeing, and why are we seeing? I just saw some the other night. Is it CGI? If that's the case, where did that come from? Questions. How did a man that was only capable of making a bullet come out of a gun, or a car racing on, gas, make an aircraft that can go 2,000 miles an hour through the sky? End of discussion at that point. Next slide. Human DNA and its origins, they basically try to slough it off that it's junk DNA. God, source, Anunnaki, whatever, they don't make junk. Here's another aspect of many heated arguments and discussions. Scientists. They say this because they don't want to admit that it's not Terra-based DNA. In other words, Earth-based, Gaia-based. The fact that it's alien to them is alien. In fact, it is alien, and that's what they don't want to admit. Next slide. Oh, there's a typo. So NDEs and Archons, Draco reptilians, basically I touched on that focus about the soul trap. It's basically a soul harvesting. They literally harvest souls and run them right through like a recycling bin. And this is just a shameless plug for my Facebook and Telegram groups, Cosmic Traveler's Guide. If you want to get some more insights on some of the things I've discovered over the years. You can, I don't have a link posted here, but you can find me on Facebook, and I have a link posted to my Telegram site, which I have a lot more content on because it's not as heavily censored. Next slide. I love this. Time has not dimmed the memory of our loss, but it has allowed us to let go of our anger toward those responsible. And that, to me, just instantly spoke of, and that's why I wanted to tie this next slide in here, instantly spoke of past life karma. And why do we feel so much anger, bitterness, rage, hatred, bitterness for some unknown reason that we can't think of or remember? And when you do shadow work, there's another show right there, Omar. And anyway, shadow work, getting in touch with the dark side and your own dark side and understanding what it's all about and why it's there. It has to do with polarity, yin and yang, chi, so on and so forth. So many of us more than likely don't even know that we come from what I call, I'm coining a phrase, the soul knot, which is a collection of millions and millions of souls kept in literally a ball of energy after they were basically murdered by the reptilians when their entire planet and many civilizations and planets have been destroyed over millions of years by these bastards. That's why when Omar asked me to do this, I'm like, yes. Anyway, collection of souls that were gathered as sentient energy and held for incarnation on a suitable planet. Here's the crux of this discussion. We are here to transmute the negative karma that we've been holding on to for millions of years or thousands of years or however long it's been since. Not all of us had to go through this, but many of us did. And the ones who did know that that's what happened to them, like me, for example. Suitable planet, aka Earth, and there's thousands of other ones that are suitable. After theirs was completely destroyed by the Draco reptilians, Archons, and their allies, the Greys. Next slide, and I'll just tie everything up with this. I'm not going to go all the way to the end because there's quite a bit more stuff that we just don't have time to cover. The Pearl people. I had a dream. Matter of fact, I had several dreams. I watched this movie and I was just like in shock because, oh my God, I can't believe that they're showing my old planet, one of the planets that I previously lived on. And then it all tied together and culminated when I watched this. And I'm like, holy shit, I was a Pearl person, people. Anyway, so that was quite a shock. I don't know how many people in this show have had that experience or been through it, but it's phenomenal and amazing when you find a channel that can help you peel the onion layers of your soul and open up to past lives. Because when you're born as a human, everything is wiped away, and that's part of the process of spiritual evolution. The most important aspect of that is remembering not only what you are, but who you are. And what you are is an eternal, sovereign being that lives forever, cannot be destroyed. Your soul and your spirit cannot be destroyed. Your carnal, physical body, yes, of course. You are going to live forever, and that ties into the NDE discussions, but you have been alive for many millions of years, and you're going to be alive for eternity. So anyway, that's it. I think we can wrap it up. I know there's a lot of parts of the topic that we didn't cover. But anyway, those people are basically the type of similar to the Na'vi in the movie Avatar, which is one of my favorite movies of all time. I love that movie, Avatar. Avatar and Jupiter Ascending, two of my most favorite movies, not to mention Star Wars and The Day the Earth Stood Still.
We just had the producer of Avatar 2 on a couple of days ago.
Really? Oh,
You might enjoy that interview. I forgot which day that was on. 2 days ago, I believe. 3 days ago, we had him on
It's all
in
a
the
blur,
morning.
right?
So yeah, you might enjoy that
Yeah.
talk. So thank you very much, brother. That was very enlightening and one of my favorite subjects, I would say, the archons. I've been digging into
Yes.
the archons for a very long time, and I've raised my awareness on that subject to great heights. And I'm still learning, about them. I learned a few things tonight while you were talking, and
Really?
yeah, I appreciate that because that's
I'm
why I do
honored.
these. That's why I do these. I was saying in the comments earlier that I want to raise awareness on everything. And if I can't raise the awareness on a typical or some particular topic, I'll grab one of my friends and I'll toss them in my space, and then they'll do the interview and get that information out, because it's all about raising awareness. And I realize
Exactly.
my strengths and my weaknesses, and I know I don't know everything. So when I don't know something, I say I don't know, and when I learn something, I say I learned something, because it's all
Yeah.
about raising awareness, and I like to raise my awareness.
That's what it's all about, man.
Yeah, that's it, man.
I am honored that you chose me to do this subject because, and I apologize that it was kind of off the seat of my pants and I wasn't totally prepared and my laptop's
It's okay.
not
Look at your face.
cooperating. I think my laptop was made by the Archons or some fucking corporation that they own.
the archontic.
Yeah, it's an
Yeah,
ASUS.
yeah. They've given us their parasitic mind,
Yes.
and they have imprinted kind of like a holographic imprint right onto our mind to keep us docile and impotent and live in that deranged chaotic state of mind, right? Because that's what the archon is itself. And it's good to raise
Archonic.
awareness. Yeah, it's so good to raise awareness on this subject, and I look to forward to doing it even more, right? Like I said, my
Yeah.
goal is to expose the archon, is to raise the awareness and to show people that they exist, and the people that I have told that these things exist, first they're surprised that they exist, and then there's that second reaction of nah, and then the third reaction is like, okay, I'm gonna try what this guy is saying, and then they turn out all the lights and they start looking around, and next thing you know, their bedroom is crawling, their living room is crawling, there's things just everywhere, and they're wondering why their cat, their Lord Gilbert and their Princess Daisy, is running around all over the place chasing these things up the walls, and they think, oh, my cat's crazy, just being cute. That's
No.
not the case. Your cat is actually protecting you.
Guardians,
And
brother.
yeah, and it's chasing that archontic force away. And when it cackles, it's cackling by saying, hey, we're a sovereign being. You don't have permission to be here. Go back to your realm. So be it, and let it be. And then, and then they fuck off, because after a while, you see, they're sitting there, they look, they're relaxed, and they go back and they lay down. Right. So the cats, that's why I have two.
Yeah. I'm a little bit hesitant to get another cat. Again, I had 4 last time, and I had when I lost my wolf hybrid, man, I was heartbroken. I don't know if I
Yeah,
can
I
go through
bet.
that. But going through a nasty, ugly divorce and leaving my 2 best friend cats behind and my 2 kids behind was just like the most painful experience. And I've been through pain, trust me.
Yeah.
That was the most painful experience I've ever been through, brother. And I don't ever want to. I mean, death is just as much part of life as life itself.
Mm-hmm.
And people just have to understand that and get past the fear of death. And that's one of the biggest things that I put in here in this presentation, was that they thrive on scaring us to death and making us afraid of death, embrace death. I mean, I'm not trying to be dark or anything when I say that, but death is just it's so paper thin. It's as thin as an atom in a molecule, and you're in the next class, man. That's all it is.
I see death as a shift in.
It's a shift.
It's a shift
Painless.
from the focus on the point of attention that you are within the infinite stream of consciousness, because we are a point of attention within that stream, and all death is that the focus has lifted from this point of attention to this point of attention, and this
Right.
point of attention still exists, just the focus is not on it any longer until you want the focus to be on you, and then poof, you incarnate, you appear, and then there you are, either as a drop of light, crystal being, meat being. It really depends on what you want to be, right? You want to experience being a piece of meat, then then you come down here to these densities, right? And then you say, well, I don't want to feel like a piece of meat. I feel like rolling around in some light bodies. So then you go to like 6th, 7th, 8th densities, and then you play around in that field and experience that body. And you say, well, I'm going to go and be a crystalline body. And then you go into the higher dimensions and you take on a crystalline body that's indestructible. And, and then when you want to come back down to being meat, you come back down to being meat. And that's what I mean by that focus of attention. Right? Earlier you were saying, tell me who you are. And I've asked, I've had people ask me that. Tell me about yourself. Tell me about yourself, like a job interview, right? The old cliche. Tell me about yourself, right? And then people will say,
ready for it.
yeah, and people will say, oh, well, I used to be an electrician, and I've got 5 kids, and I like playing ball hockey, and I like to fish and camp and things like that. And the mainstream, right? The one across from you nodding his head, agreeing with everything. And when somebody asks me, I just love the surprised look on their face. Because when somebody tells me, tell me about yourself, I always say, I'm labeled as Omar in this incarnation. I'm a point of attention within the infinite stream of consciousness. I'm everything. I am that there is, ever was, never is, never will be. I'm just here for a brief moment. And that's it. And they're looking, they're like,
I'm here for a good time, not a long time.
What'd you say?
Ding, 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 ding.
Yeah,
I'm here for a good time, not a long time.
Yeah, let's wrap it up. Let's come on screen, guys, and we'll close out the day with our brother Marlon.
Hey, Rob, did I put you to sleep, brother?
Stone. Right on.
No,
guys.
it's 11:30 over here, bro. It's a late night, starting at 9 a.m. to get up and get. I'm just exhausted. Long days.
He's in the same time zone as you are, Rob.
11:21.
Yeah, he's on the East Coast as well. So let's, today was a beautiful day. It was an excellent day, aside from just one tiny little hiccup that lasted maybe a minute. No big deal. We'll fix that. We don't want anybody's channel going down. It's nobody's fault. Sean meant well, and he was trying to give us an upload. It's just unfortunate that we're streaming on a platform that censors us, because we don't want to censor anybody. I don't want to tell Sean, hey, don't talk about that. Stop talking about that. I don't want to do that.
I had to, because there's so many different channels were at stake in that, and I don't want to be responsible for anybody else's channel.
Exactly. I want to have the integrity of everyone. So with that, the day was perfect. Everyone was amazing. I enjoyed every single person. Every upload was beautiful. And tomorrow is our final day, day 11. And that is pretty amazing. We made it to the end.
Wow.
Which is super cool. And we plowed through over 100 speakers, and we've gotten ourselves amazing amounts of uploads from our friends.
I think we got ourselves a world record, didn't we? I think we pretty much got ourselves a world record.
Yeah, we're pretty close to there.
We should have called
Rob,
Guinness. Who said that? We should have called Guinness.
Did
really got into the book.
You
I know we started a craze.
You want me to bring up the screen?
Yeah. Bring up the schedule, please, and we'll plow through this.
Got it. You want me to do it real quick?
I'm here. I'm looking at it, so I can plow through it really fast.
Go ahead.
Are we good to go?
Yeah.
Yeah, cool. Right on. Okay, so tomorrow, guys, is going to be an amazing day. Tomorrow we're going to start off with my friend from Austria. She communicates with animals, a horse whisperer. So she's going to come on and show us how she uses her farm and the donkeys and the horses and the animals on her farm to do animal therapy with people who are ill and people who are not ill that just come in for animal therapy. She's had tremendous results with healing with her horses, and I've done several talks with her in the past. She's an amazing woman. I call her my personal horse whisperer because she talks to her horses and her horses talk back. It's an incredible story. If you guys are interested in that, check out the talk I did with Renata Zak. Actually, I've done 2 of them, so check that out. And I believe Rob was with me for one of them. And
yeah, we did it at Fort Mast.
Yeah, and then I did one with her prior to that one. So we got two.
Oh
great
yeah, we
downloads.
did one just on the show too. I think we just talked to her solo. It was pretty because remember we got cut off somewhere in Forgery, so we had to do the makeup version like we're gonna do for all the people who didn't quite get in on this one.
Yeah.
And then after Renata, we're going to stay in Europe. We're going to hop over to England to our friend Sona Tandon's house. And she is a holistic healer and into plant medicine. So
we're going to Sona's house? That sounds like fun. She better have dinner. She better have dinner or breakfast or brunch, something.
We're going to go from
maybe some tea.
Yeah, we're time traveling tomorrow, bro. We're going to go from Renata's house in Austria to Sona's house in the UK. And
working our way west.
Yeah, after that, we're going to the Midwest to Kathy's house. And then we're going to get an upload from Kathy. It says open mic here, but, we didn't get an upload from Kathy. So I thought I would change that and get Kathy to come up and give us an epic upload because I just have tremendous amounts of respect for her. And she's down to give us a download on that. And then after Kathy, we've got Cherie Doan. And she's going to be talking about PTSD release and turn illness into brilliance. So I'm looking forward to that. And then at 12:40, we're featuring another film called On the Other Side of the Gate, or Peace on Both Sides of the Gate. It's a film by James Bonato. It is about an hour and 15 minutes long. And then after that, we're going to open it up to a panel discussion. Our buddy John Mayberry will be with us, and Marlon will hopefully be with us. That's happening at about 12:45, 1:45, about 2 o'clock. So about 5 o'clock Eastern Standard Time. Marlon, I was going to call you Marlon. That's my boy's name. We're going to have a nice panel discussion, and we'll make this panel discussion an open panel discussion and share the links to the studio into the audience. So if anybody wants to come up and share their thoughts or give a testimonial, it's up to you. No push there. If you feel comfortable to share, you're welcome to come on and share. And of course, we're going to get stretched out by Leanne twice tomorrow, and then after that we have Shima Moore. Who's going to come on. Dr. Jones going to do a download with her. And then after that, we're going down south to Australia to Paul and Phoebe Hugendijk's house. And we're going to get an upload about Aboriginal culture in Australia from there. And then after that, we're going to do Gary Opit, and we're going to be talking about Bigfoot, the Yeti. And
the only Bigfoot speaker on the panel. I mean, on the whole show.
Really?
The only one.
Yeah. We got that. Well, I was going to have George Mitrovic on here as well, but unfortunately, George cancer came back, and then he had to go for a biopsy.
Yeah.
And it's just too much medical pressure right there. So I just took the pressure off of him. In fact, he took it off. Asked to be
we love you, George. We hope you're getting better and you're feeling better. But
George, you gotta heal up, and then we'll catch you at the next one. And then at 7:20, we're going to get another download from Stephen and Evan Strong. And then right after that, we will be closing our event of Humanity Unplugged 2022. And then we will begin to organize a similar event for Humanity Unplugged 23. And
what? Not that big, not that long. We're not doing that.
222.
Come on, man.
Yeah, 225 days long. you know,
Hey, Rob,
at least
by then
2/3
I'll
of the year this time straight.
by then I'll have my own show and I'll come in as a host, and I'll work 3 or 4 days through as a host.
I like
No,
that.
that'd be epic. Yeah,
We didn't have a lot of MCs this time around. Stone, me, Greg jumped in for a little while, and Omar. That was it.
Yeah.
We
Yeah,
really
I'll
didn't. And,
MC
Dr.
for you,
Joan,
man.
Kathy, they came in and did some people too. I forgot.
Yeah.
My brain's not working. It's like a big puddle in my head right now. So much
You go think
information.
that we would. Yeah, you go think that we would have organized like 10 or 12 MCs to cover like all of these people, but no,
Yep.
it's more intimate when there's just a few people and people that are watching. They become familiar with the people, and it makes it more personal. And if we had like 20 MCs rolling through here, then you just don't have that same type of energy, right? That closeness, that tightness that you have. Anyways, the tightness that you have. Anyways,
We're getting crazy now. The tired is setting through all of us, and we're making grammatical errors and innuendos that are just inappropriate at every level. So, on behalf of everybody, we love you. Good night. That's pretty
Love
much
you all.
yeah, my name is Omar. I'm a host here at Watchers Talk, coming at you guys from West Coast, British Columbia, Canada. I appreciate you guys. I love you guys, and I will see you guys tomorrow. Stone, any final words?
Just, thanks everybody again for coming along. Stay calm, enjoy the rest of your day, and just keep on shining. See you tomorrow.
Smile, Rob.
Marlon, any
Smile,
finals?
Rob. Come on. Yeah, I just want to say I'm honored to be on here, and thanks for having me, and love and light to all of you, and thinking about you all, and have a great night, and looking forward to seeing you again tomorrow.
Awesomeness. And guys, when this stream
Love
is
you
over,
guys.
don't forget to quickly jump down below, give this video a quick like, give it a share, and jump into the comments. Leave a comment, even if it's a hi or an emoji, whatever the case may be. It really helps the channel. Do that in all of them if you can.
Yes.
And if you feel compelled to give a donation or to make a tip, you can do so through the pinned comment in the chat rooms. And until tomorrow morning with our last day, love you guys, and we will see you then.
Let's go.
Love you.
Brandon.